All right, shalom. All praises due to Yahweh. Basically, I'm gonna go over all the different precepts and scriptures showing you on how you can marry and deal with the women of the other nations. As I previously did in my other videos, I pretty much went over other precepts that all these black Hebrew Israelites, racist organizations, radicals like to utilize to try to justify their hatred by saying that it's a sin to marry a woman outside of your nation or your race. So before I can get started, I'm going to just say this right here. If any of you gainsayers and all you liars, you want to come down on the comment board and you want to start quoting out of all these different verses, Deuteronomy 7:3, 1 Kings 11:1, Nehemiah 10:1-2, Ezra's 9:1-2, Nehemiah 13:1, or in verse 25, Tobit 4:12, Malachi 2:11, and Numbers 25 verse 7 and verse 9, all you gotta do is go on my channel, and I want you to take a look at all these videos over here. This video and all three of those. But in all these different videos that I posted over the past couple weeks, I addressed all of these different precepts and give the proper understanding according to the scriptures. The fact of the matter is this: the Creator, the Most High, only had an issue with us marrying non-believing Gentile women, which is the reason why it was referred to as strange. So with that, I'm going to go over the precepts right now, and I'm going to show you examples on how you had a lot of our forefathers who married Gentile women who had concubines, and they never got seduced into following after the idols of their nations, because those concubines were believers. I'm going to start off with Abraham. Although Abraham was not an Israelite, but nonetheless, he was our forefather. So therefore, I'm going to also go over him. Now it says, Genesis 16:1. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, had borne him no children. She had an Egyptian manservant whose name was Hagar. And you notice on how she was not referred to as a stranger. And Sarah said to Abraham, or Abram, see, now Yahweh had restrained me from bearing. Consort now with my maid servant. Perhaps I will be built up through her. And Abram heeded the voice of Sarah. I'm going to go to the next page. It says, so Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian, her maidservant, after 10 years of Abraham's dwelling in the land of Canaan, and gave her to Abraham, or Abram, her husband, to him as a wife. He consorted with Hagar, and she was conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was lowered in her esteem. So I'm going to stop right there. On the previous verse, you can clearly see on how Abraham did not marry a woman of his own stock, but he ended up marrying an Egyptian woman, a non-Israelite. And the Creator never brought any judgment upon him. So I'm going to go to another one. Let's see. I'm going to go to Genesis 25. and 1, dealing with Abraham again. It says, Abraham proceeded, and he took a wife, whose name was who? Keturah. And she bore him Zimram, Joktan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shuah. I'm going to go down to the point. Verse 6. But to the concubine, the children who were Abraham gave gifts. Then he sent them away from Isaac his son, while he was still alive, eastward to the land of the east. So Keturah was also a woman outside of his nation. She was his concubine. But you got these cats telling you, all these liars, these lying demonic ass camps out there, all these racist black Hebrew Israelites telling you that it's a sin to quote unquote marry a woman outside of your race or your nation. You see that? But like I said, if you're a racist, you're not even qualified to teach about interracial marriage coming out of the Torah, because you're going to have a biased point of view. And that's factual. You're going to lie on the scriptures. You're going to lie all throughout the precepts. You're going to say, forget about Abraham, forget about all our ancient forefathers. I have a lust to hate the other nations. So therefore, the hell with what the scriptures got to say. I'm going to just go by my own feelings. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm going to go to another one. Let's see. Matter of fact, Genesis 24:67, and dealing with Isaac. And it says, and Isaac brought her into her tent of Sarah, his mother, and he married who? Rebekah. She became his wife, and he loved her, and thus was Isaac consoled after his mother. So it says that Isaac married Rebekah, right? So therefore, let's see. I'm going to show you something right now. I'm going to jump down to Jacob. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. Genesis 29:22. And it says, so Laban gathered all the people of the place and made a feast. And was in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, okay, and brought her to him. And he consorted with her. You see? He went in unto her and became his wife. Or I should probably say, husband. Now I'm going to jump down to, let's see, I'm looking at my notes right now. I'm going to jump down to verse 28. It says, so Jacob did so, and he completed the week for her, and he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to him as a wife. So now you're dealing with Rachel and Leah, who both ended up marrying Jacob. So now I'm going to go to Genesis 28:1, and I'm going to show you the nationality of Leah, Rachel, and Rebekah, who was Isaac's wife. Genesis 28:1, it says, so Isaac summoned Jacob and blessed him. He is instructing him and said to him, do not take a wife from the Canaanite woman. Arise and go to Padam Haram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife from there, the daughter of Laban, your mother's brother. Laban and Rebekah was brothers. And may El Shaddai bless you, make you fruitful, and make you numerous, and may you be a congregation of peoples. I'm going to go straight to the point. It says, so Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went toward Padam Haram to Laban, the son of Bethuel, the what? The Aramean, or the Syrian, brother of Rebekah, mother of Jacob and Esau. So Isaac and Rebekah was a Syrian. She was not a Hebrew, or a Hebrew of the Hebrews. She was a Syrian. And as well as Leah and Rachel. And you already know who Jacob was. Jacob was a forefather of the nation of Israel. So I'm going to go to another precept. I'm going to go to Genesis 30:9. No. Yeah. I'm going to start off at verse 3. It says, she said, here's my maid Bilnah. Consult with her that she may bear upon my knees, and I too may be built through her. So she gave Bilnah her main servant as a wife, and Jacob consorted with her. I'm going to jump down to verse 9, and it says, when Leah saw that she had stopped giving him birth, she took Zilpah, her maid servant, and gave her to Jacob as a wife. So you can clearly see that Zilpah and Bilnah also ended up marrying Jacob. And they were not Israelites. They were also women outside of their nation. But the Creator never brought any type of judgment upon them, because they were all believers. It's that simple. I'm going to go to another precept. Let's see. 35:22. I want to go straight to the point. All right, this is Genesis 35 and 22. And it says, and it came to pass while Israel dwelt in a land that Reuben went and lay with who Bilnah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard. So she was his father's, Jacob's concubine. She was a woman of another nation. Creator never brought any type of judgment on her. And like I was saying before, if the woman is outside of your nation, but she's a believer, then there's no issues or no problems with that. But you know what the funny part is? You got a lot of cats in Israel, a lot of black men in Israel, because we don't know all the Israelites are so-called black people. All 12 tribes are Negroes. You got a lot of Israelite men in this truth who are currently married to an Israelite woman, a black woman, or so-called black woman who's not even a believer. But a lot of you cats don't even want to address that. That's a whole nother subject matter or topic. So let me go to Genesis 41 and 45. Let's see, Genesis 41 and 45. And it says, Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephnath-Pinah, and he gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, chief of On, for a wife. Thus Joseph emerged in charge of the land of Egypt. Now Joseph was 3 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Joseph left Pharaoh's presence, and he passed through the entire land of Egypt. Yes, I'm going to stop. Hold on. Yes, I'm going to stop right there. It says, then Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zephnath-Pinah, and he gave him Asenath, who was the daughter of Potiphera, chief of On, for a wife. And that was an Egyptian woman. You clearly see this historical account on where Joseph, who was one of Jacob's sons, ended up marrying an Egyptian woman. And over here, I'm going to show you something right now. I got the strong concordance number H63 of my 19. I'm going to go down. I'm going to give you the definition of the meaning of the word Potiphera. And it says it right here. An Egyptian derivation of Potiphera, an Egyptian Potiphera. It says in Egyptian, over here it says, he whom he gave, it says the whom the Ra gave, an Egyptian priest of On, father of Asenath, the wife whom Pharaoh gave to Joseph. So she was an Egyptian. And the Creator didn't have any issues with her marrying, or with him marrying a non-Israelite woman. So I'm going to go to another one. I'm going to go to Genesis 34. This is dealing with the Canaanites, man, pretty much defiled Jacob's daughter. And Simeon and Levi took it upon themselves to get revenge upon the man who defiled and raped their sister. So I'm going to jump down to verse 25. And it says, and came to pass on the third day, when they were in the pain, that two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah his brother, each took his sword, and they came upon the city confidently and killed every male. And Hamor and Shechem his son they killed at the point of the sword. Then they took Dinah from Shechem's house and left. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and they plundered the city which had defiled their sister. Their flocks, their cattle, their donkeys, whatever was, and the town, and whatever was in the field, they took, and all their wealth, and all their children, and what? Their wives. They took captives, and they plundered as well as everything in the house. So they pretty much took the wives also as captives and the children. So what do you think they did with the wives as they took them as captives? And there's also a law on that. When you go back and read the book of Deuteronomy, the 20th, either 20th or the 21st chapter, which I want to read later on. You took the spoils of the city, including the woman. So what do you think they did with the woman? You got to think about that. So I'm going to go to another one. I'm going to go to Genesis 38. It says, and it was at that time that Judah went down from his brothers and turned away towards an Adulamite man whose name was Hira. There Judah saw the daughter of a prominent merchant whose name was Shua. He married her and consorted with her. She conceived and bore him a son and called his name Er. She conceived again and bore a son and called his name Ona. And yet again she bore him a son and called his name Shelah. And it was Shizib when she bore him. So the fact of the matter is this Adulamite woman that he ended up marrying, she was not an Israelite. She was also a Gentile, a heathen woman outside of his nation. But you notice on how she was never referred to as a strange woman. Because she was a believer. She was not a non-believer. She was a believer. So I'm going to go to another one. Let's see. I'm going to go to Exodus. I'm dealing with Moses. It says, 2 verse 15, Pharaoh heard about this matter and sought to kill Moses. So Moses fled from before the Pharaoh and settled in the land of Midian. And it says, the minister of Midian had 7 daughters. They came up and drew water and filled the throws to the water, their father's sheep. The shepherds came and drove them away. Moses got up and saved them and watered their sheep. They came to Reuel, their father. He said, how could you come so quickly today? I'm going to go straight to the point. Verse 21, Moses desired to dwell with the man, and he gave his daughter Zipporah to Moses. You see that? She gave birth to a son, and he named him Gershon, for he said, I have seen a stranger in a foreign land. Now, when you go back to verse 16, she was a Midianite. So Moses ended up marrying a Midianite woman. And you get cats telling you, if you got any type of Israelite man marrying or going outside of their race or outside of their nations, all of them are Uncle Toms. So I guess Moses was an Uncle Tom. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob were also Uncle Toms. I guess Judah and Joseph were also Uncle Toms. You see, all these black racist extremists, the Hebrew Israelite groups or camps or individuals out there, they end up putting their own foot right in their own mouth. So I'm going to go to another one. Because Moses had 2 wives. It says Miriam and Haran spoke against Moses regarding the Cushite or the Ethiopian woman he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. So Moses took it upon himself to get him a second wife, a Cushite or an Ethiopian woman. And the Creator didn't have any issues or problems with that. And if you read the next chapter, and the Most High brought judgment upon his sister for speaking against him. So I'm going to go to another one. I'm going to go to Numbers 31:9. When we went to war against the Midianite. What's this? It says, Numbers 31:9. The children of Israel took captives the woman, again, the woman of Midian, and their young children, and all their cattle and flocks, and all their wealth. They took as what? Spoils. So the woman of the city became spoils or concubines unto the children of Israel at that particular moment. And they were all Midianites. Creator didn't have any problems with that. Verse 17. So now kill every male among the young children, and every woman fit to know a man by lying with a male you shall kill. But all the young children among the women who have not known by lying with a male, you may keep alive for yourselves. This is straight to the point, man. Let's see. I'm going to go jump down to verse 33. And the cattle are 72,000, and donkeys are 61,000, and human beings, the woman who had not known lying with a male, all the souls were 32,000. So these are all the different women amongst the Midianite who had not known any man that the Creator told us to deal with. Because these women were not corrupted with the ideologies and the philosophies of the Midianite man. So therefore, they was never referred to as strange woman. It was perfectly legal in the eyesight of the Creator. You see that? So I'm going to jump down to, I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 20. It says, when you draw near to a city to wage war against it, you shall call out to it for peace. It shall be, if it responds to you in peace and opens for you, then the entire people found within it shall be as tribute for you, and they shall serve you. But if it does not make peace with you, but makes war with you, you shall besiege it. It says, Yahweh shall deliver it to your hand, and you shall smite all the males by the blade of the sword. Only the woman, the small children, the animals, everything that will be in the city, it's all booty. You may plunder for yourselves. You shall eat the booty of your enemies, which Yahweh your power gave you. So all the women, and this is part of the law. When you read Deuteronomy 20 verse 10, going all the way down to verse 15, is to let you know right here that all the women of the city should be ours for booty. Ours for what? Spoil. Just like we read in Numbers 31st chapter. You see? And the Creator didn't have any issues or problem with that. So I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 21:10. It says, when you will go out to war against your enemies, and Yahweh, your God, will deliver him to your hand, and you will capture his captive. So like you will capture his captivity, and you will see among its captivity a woman who is beautiful of form, and you will desire, you may take her to yourself for a wife. You shall bring her to the midst of your house. She shall shave her head and let her nails grow. She shall remove the garment of her captivity from upon herself and sit in your house, and she shall weep for her father and her mother for a full month. Thereafter you may come to her and live with her, and she shall be a what? A wife to you. But it shall be that if you do not desire her, then you shall send her away, put her away, okay, on her own, but you may not sell her for money. You shall not enslave her because you have afflicted her. This is Deuteronomy 21, verse 10, all the way down to verse 14. Yes, you could deal with the women of the other nations. You can have concubines as long as they are believers of the Torah. It's that simple. There's nothing complicated about that. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 20:27. It says, you shall not seek their peace. No, hold on. All right, verse 8. You shall not reject an Edomite, for he is your brother. You shall not reject an Egyptian, for you were sojourner in his land. But now look what it says. It says, children whom are born to them in the third generation may enter into the congregation of the Most High. So even give you certain guidelines at that particular moment. If you're going to beget children from the Edomites or the Egyptian, they will enter into the congregation of the Most High unto the third generation. Even when we go back and study the law, we always had sojourners or proselytes who were dwelling among us, dwelling among the land, following and keeping the Torah. Which is the reason why you have many examples of Israelite men marrying Gentile women. And it was not a sin to marry an Edomite or an Egyptian woman, as long as she was a believer. Let's see. I'm going to go to Joshua. Let's see. Well, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to come back for part 2.